New lesson, 11-2, experimental probability. The best way to think about experimental probability is think about your science fair project data. If I'm testing something, I'm testing what the probability is it will happen again. The formula that we need to remember that I will put on the board almost every day, probability of an event is the number of favorable outcomes over the total possible outcomes. Favorable means the question you're asking not necessarily good. Example, Mr. Quinn made 14 of 20 free throws. What's the probability he makes the next free throw? Probability of making it is the event. Is 14 made, favorable outcomes, what's it being asked? 20 total outcomes, 14 20ths. But just like all fractions, we must reduce. 14 20ths reduces by 2 to get 7/10. The probability that Mr. Quinn makes the next free throw is 7/10.